Good afternoon, one and all, and welcome back to the LPGA Tour of Korea. An annual tradition since 2013. This is the Nexen SaintNine Masters from Gaea Country Club in Gimhae-si. A three-round event that begins on this pleasant Friday afternoon with our leaders up inside at -3 to -5 range. Fantastic starts to the round for many, including the return to the top of Kim Min-bi, who leads this event on her final hole of the day at 5 under par. Yoo-hae Ran, our defending champion, not here this year to defend her title. With some past champs in the field this week. And some champs from 2023 already. Park Ji-young in contention once again. Of course, the wonderful performance from Lee Joo-mi. What it meant for her to finally get over the hump and take to the top of the leaderboard. She is off to a rocky start to her round, admittedly, but we have EA1 as well, who is even through 3 holes of play. Let's go to 8 with Park Ji-young, 2 under par. With the wind at her back, she is able to get up nicely onto the green. Taking a look at her round thus far. Teed off on the 10th hole. And had a slow start to the round, admittedly. She'd finish 37 on the way out. Bogey at 17, but 3 birdies, 1, 3, and 5, and within 3 of the lead. That's the effort from up on the fairway, able to climb to the green, the right-sided green here. Let's take a look at hole number 9. It's a 513-meter par 5 with a very narrow uphill tee shot before a sharp departure off to the right. There is that one seemingly very lonely sand trap off to the left side of the fairway along the cart path. The base of it, 210 meters, 230 at its tip from the tee. Anywhere about 20 yards to its right and further down the fairway before we round the corner through the trees and straighten on down. As of course you can see, the 2 green system in play here at Gaea with 3 distinct sand traps off the front of both of those greens. That little red arrow for you indicating that we are playing to the right sides. And in fact, we are playing to the right green on every single hole on this course. Zooming into the green, you can see sloping downhill from the back. And the pin placement today, fairly central, 20 yards off the front and 10 yards from the left edge of that green. Often when you see these setups where every single green is either left or right, it's because there's 2 different types of grass. It's one of the things that the grounds crew can do to extend the season and keep those greens healthy. Have a more cold weather resistant seed on the one versus the other. The other will play better with more sun and better heat. It's pretty incredible the science that goes with this wonderful sport these days. Down off the back, this is just punched and will run all the way up into the wind and on the line, just about able to hit the flag and drop. That is a great up from quite some margin off the back. Those sunglasses we could spot everywhere. Last week's champion, and what a moment it was for her. A culmination of a career's body of work, coming so close to the podium so many times before, but finally able to stand at the top. Lee Joo-mi, very well done for her, and very well well-deserved victory at the Mediheal Hangugobo Championship. 12 under par is what she would finish with. Kim Min Biai, she had been in the fight, but just cooled off in the final round and couldn't stay in the hunt. But she is starting the tournament brilliantly once again. There's her second shot, and she finds the sand trap to the, well, excuse me, off to the left, the most of the three. Easy for me to say. Now Che Ream also going with the hybrid club. It is a blustery day despite the wonderful conditions of 20 degrees Celsius, but 3.2 meters per second the wind out of the east. It's a steady 12-kilometer-an-hour wind, and she stays off to the right. That's shaped well. Have a nice look up onto the putting surface. Park Young starting this round at +2. Anxious as she watches that putt roll and roll and roll. Another one who had begun her round on the 10th tee. Just 3 holes left in her day. She double bogeyed the 6th to take her back to over par. It is a field of 120. Only 8 players are under par. Now an additional 30 are at even. Tied for 4th is Park Ji-young. This is her putt for birdie. Needs to move back to the left at the end. There's always going to be a point on her back nine that she slowed down a little bit. Uses the spin to slow up right on time. You can tell just how much that wind is pushing across this green as Park Young tries to save a par. She catches a piece. She will tap in and go down another, so it's not a pleasant series of holes here. She has gone from even to +3 in just about 15 minutes time. Now from the sand, and an audible reaction from the patrons in behind the green, as that was not on the putting surface for long, if at all. Took the cap from Lee Mi. Wasn't much left after working her way back up. Now Che Ream, her approach shot at 9. Just a comfortable up, nice and steady. Jiang, nowhere near the issues of her group mate at this point of the round. She's just trying to carry herself in without any more mistakes. The birdie, of course, would be lovely.
살짝 띄운다는 느낌으로 서고 이 언저리만 떨어지는 거예요. 네, 뒤에 움직이지만 말아주세요. 뒤에.
Far from a simple recovery here for our leader. With the wind and the way that slope was, she was always going to go up and long, but I don't think any of us had her going that long on the bingo card. And back on 5. Lead about 7 feet, maybe a touch more for EA1. It's a long way back still. I feel like she's crisscrossed this green 3 different times, Kim Min Biel, and her lead is going to disappear. That is a tough way to end a day. She taps in for a bogey, and it's an opening round of 68. In with 35, out with a 33. She shares with Han Yu-min, a couple of superstar young women. Now Lee Jung-min on 5. This is quite the lengthy birdie in her own right. Gets it hole high. Leaves her with a simple tap in. So Jung-min on the finish. Now home Jung-min. It's about 4 feet with some snap. He makes the necessary preparations. She goes out with a, maybe she comes in with a 38, having teed off on the other hole. It took some quick math, but we got there in the end. +4 is where she finishes. To 5, Chun Ye Sung. This is a chance to get back to even par. Uphill and into the wind. Rolls 3 or 4 feet past. While there's plenty, 33 players right now at even, there is another considerable number at +1, 16. EA1, 3 taps of the putter in frustration. It's funny how quickly the expectations change once you finally get, Jay Ream. She knew that was a potential to go low one final time and move into a tie for 3rd position. Now EA1. Trying to save a par here. It's gonna go quick. Downhill has to have her alignment, and she does not. But yes, how quickly the expectations change into your sophomore year. You get that maiden victory. You demand more of yourself. Your supporters get used to that winning feeling. They want to see it again and again. Chun Ye Sung also on a par save. A little left to right. Kicks out on the inside edge and pops back out on the other side. Not making many friends here. The pin placement. Been tough to attack, and no doubt the wind isn't making it much easier for our field. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Kim Min Byul with her bogey at the last drops into a tie with Hung Yoo Min. Rounds of 68. Hung Ji-won with 1 shot more at a 69. Chae Ream, Pak Ji-young, Chae Min-kyung, So Yeon-jung, Chae Yu-no. That is the front and first page of your leaderboard. Kim Soo-ji, Kim Yani, Dia-yeon, and Lee Na-kyung also tied for 4th at 2 under par. As I mentioned, it has been tough to go under. Only 18 now after another dropping beneath. Cho Ayan, Pak Yeol, Ko Chi-yu. The list goes on and on and on. Plenty of ease on the leaderboard as everyone tries to navigate their way around Gaia. Since 2013, an annual tradition, the 10th edition of the Nexen SaintNine Masters. More when we return. some of the bigger names from the earlier groups already finished their rounds. Let's take a look at some of the players we'll be keeping the closest eye on. 12:15, Isomi Hyun-Serin and Kim Ji-soo teed off together on hole number 1. 10 minutes later, Kim Ji-won, Lee So-young, and Lee Seung-yeon, a couple of previous winners of this event. Lee Seung-yeon in 2019, Lee So-young 2018, Kim Ji-won 2017. 12:35, Chung Yoon-ji, Lee Ga-young, Kim Soo-ji. And then one of the groups with some of the heaviest hitters, Chun Ye-sung, Lee Ae-won, and Lee Jung-min. My name is Adam Jenkins. Thank you for joining us for the first round of the Nexen SaintNine Masters 2023. Number 6 is the final par 3 of the front 9. 168 meters, the longest of the 4. Bouncing that off from the fringe on line. Oh, nearly an ace. One more look at that. It was on for a moment, wasn't it? Gonna go shallow. That's the perfect place. Absorbing most of the speed and knowing it's gonna keep you close. Chun Ye-sung, 2 over for the first 5 holes of the day. Going with the hybrid here. It would take quite a long iron for 168 meters. Finishes a little bit left. Gust of wind, no doubt, causing a factor, playing a factor. The last to tee off, and the furthest away. Furthest left, furthest back. It'll loop around slightly as the wind changes directions on EA1. More of a headwind than anything. But each of the 3 have arrived on the green. The approach on down, sticks within a few feet short of the stick. That is absolutely lovely. Some brilliant short game control to set up what should be a certain birdie. Jiang is next. Not quite the same amount of carry, but we'll leave her with about 4-5 meters downhill as well. When it really picks up and causes her to abandon her swing. Iso Mi, one of 18 players under par. It is a low probability putt for birdie, but one that would vault her inside of the top 5. It's likely always going to be shy. Young, she needs a bounce back hole. Could certainly use a birdie. Now all of a sudden, this to save a par for Iso Mi. And gets it. Tense as she stood over that putt, no doubt. One. Another. It's got to summit the mountain here. Pretty drastically offline and carrying quite a bit of pace to it as well. Youngster. The ooze from in behind the green tell you how close she came. It's a short little tap in for a par. Keeps herself at 2-1. Suji on 7. Wedge to get up to the green. Another central located pin placement. Kim Soo-ji is just over the fringe. Half of that ball hanging over the edge. It's a little nick to get it the rest of the way. Boyd, Park Young closer to even, but it is just par, and that means it is an opening round of 75. Jenye Sung to get to +1. She had her line, just needed a smidge more pace to it. go over to 9 with Ijumi. She's a ways away off the top, but certainly will take some solace in getting closer to that even par mark. And she's taking a step, +3 now after the birdie. It's her only one of the day. She comes in even at 36. Tough initial 9 on the Nagdong course. +3, 75 is where she finishes day number 1. EA1. A little bit shocked. Not even that she missed, but how much more to the left it had been. Approach at 8, using the wind as an ally to the right of target, but about hole high. Lee Jung-min had that to get under par. Perplexing miss. We'll go back to 9. Kim Min-ju. Up the hill onto the front step. Long way off yet, however. Quick refocus and draining the par. A little bit disappointed. No doubt, having narrowly missed. Really taking her time, and I've said it countless times, I'll say it again. When you see the players hovering over for an extra 5-6 seconds, it's often not a very good sign. Plenty of pace down the hill. About 6 feet beyond the target. This one's online. Chen Ye-sung, well done. All business. Tip of the visor and marching on to the next. Young. This is at 7, similar to Ijumi, where she's desperate for some birdies, and that one will feel like a massive wave of relief. Go down as one of the longer ones by day's end. Speaking of long looks at birdie, narrowly all the way there. Can certainly put Kim Shi-won in the category of those who will have left. Of course, disappointed with how the weekend ended. Kim Soo-ji. First bogey of the day, excuse me, after 2 birdies in the first 3 holes. So many of these gorgeous holes, especially the teeing grounds, just cut out of the trees, wall to wall on either side. Jung-min knows that this could be trouble. She avoids the worst of it. That could have been up into the trees and into the thicket of leaves. To 8, Lee So-young has a chance to get to even. No. By mere centimeters to the left. Chen Ye-sung is next. No such drama. All fairway all the way. It's no doubt a very long course today. Putting everything towards the middle is not doing many favors. 6,818 yards, 6,234 meters. And the last tee shot of the trio from EA1 finds the fairway, the longest drive of the 3 as well. Dramatic zoom is often not a good sign because it needs one more touch of the putter. Ju saves her par at 9. Well, lots of bogeys out the gates, unfortunately for her, but she's steadied the ship. Starting to get a bit more control over the course. It is Kim Min Biao and Hung Yu Min. Twin rounds of 68, Hung Ji-won 69, and Jae-rin Pak Ji-young leading the 8 players tied at 2 under par. No doubt when she arrived at the ball, Lee Jung-min thought, well, this could have gone a whole lot more sideways. Instead, it's a decent lie in the fairway, just beside the trees. And again, though, she's going to have to pay attention to the wind here. She goes high lofted up. This sit for her. It's going to sit on the fringe. There's plenty of green to find, and so far we're 0 for 2. EA1 at +3. She's going to get a helpful kick right on line, and that last little push from the wind. With about 4 meters for a birdie, and she could certainly use some. On and off in a flash and still rolling. Chun Ye-sung nearly caused the spectators to sidestep. bounce back hole here after an opportunity for birdie gone by the wayside. It's going to be another tricky one. Back into the wind, especially on a day like today with the winds what they are. There's really not consistent opportunities for birdie. You're going to have to take your opportunities when they fall at your feet. Serene on 9, she's even. Zips a bit more towards the left side of this green and will have a chance to get under par, but she'll have to work for it. We have Kimin Biol and Hung Yu Min 4 under. A new name though, tied for third. A blazing hot start to the round. 3 birdies in the first 4 holes. For Hung Ye Na, it's a fantastic start for her when so many have struggled to find birdies on a consistent basis. No such trouble as she looks to send her name to the top of this list. 120 players in the field from 400 at the top to plus 11 at the bottom. This is the Nexen SaintNine Masters. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Chun Yoon-ji had been hidden beneath the green and the sand and nearly able to drain it from the beach, just a few centimeters away from an outstanding birdie. Chun Ye-sung. She dropped to the other side of the green, working her way back, and does so with a fantastic touch of the wedge. Hyun-se-rin. An outside chance, but a chance nevertheless to get under par. Her speed was there, the line not quite. EA1, her troubles with that putter unfortunately continue. Not finding much joy. Those 6 to 8 footers. She hasn't been able to cash in on a consistent basis, and she still finds herself down. +3 during the end of her front 9. You know there's going to be break at the end of this putt. At least expect to be some. I think I would have aligned that the exact same way. Wouldn't have gotten it nearly as close, mind you, but like she had accounted for. Should have been a sloped green, but it stays straight all the way through, and it takes 2 putts. Isomi, our final hole on the front 9, and she just left it short. Moved her within 2 at the turn. Goes 1 under. Still an under par 9-hole stretch here has been a rarity. Jimmy looking for better luck with the driver here on 8. Any more in the middle of the fairway. That's more like it. Back to 9 from the fairway, So Young. She had an opening round of 4 under par the year she won in 2018. 67 in the final round on Sunday. Park Sang-hyun, who won in 2016, had a Saturday performance of 8 under. EA1 also a bit of a fade. Looks like everyone's comfortably away. We've seen this tournament move back and forth from 3 rounds and 4 rounds back to this 3-round format as we had been in 2019. The Dream Tour, it is also in action. 3 tournaments, excuse me, now in the books. With the next scheduled to begin on Monday. Milan, Sun, and Lotte Sky Hill and Yale.
제 목표는 2승해서 하고 싶은 게 1부터를 나갈 수 있거든요. 그래서 그걸 나가서 1부터 나가서 제 현재 위치가 어디까지 올라왔는지가 가장 궁금해요. 제가 왜냐면 올해만큼은 좀 달라진 것 같아서 물론 어떻게 될지 모르겠지만 그래도 현재 위치를 보고 싶어요.
Winner in midweek. Shinbo means 65 and 69 for her to take the event in Gunsan. A 10.5 million won payday for her, finishing at the top, back to the win column after a couple of years out. Approach shots ready to go at 8. She needed to be right, but she definitely needed to be a little bit deeper than that, Chun Ye-sung. The putter has failed her at times, and now onto the cart path. Just hasn't been able to begin the week here at Gaia with any consistency, unfortunately. Up at 10. Kim Shi-won. As the wind calms for a moment, she plays her chip and plays that within 4 feet of the hole. Jungmin, there was a wide open green to attack with one of her group mates short, the other long. Some great shots at 10. Should be, at the minimum, a couple of birdies. been a minute since we have seen somebody go low, and he's so young. After a great approach shot. Celebrates. Birdie to move her under par now. The long putter. Kim Shi-won. Also just a hair inside 5 feet, but she overcooks it. She'll be left wondering how. Another name in the ring. Inag Young, having teed off on the 10th hole. She's within 1 of the lead. Hung Ye Na. 3 under through the first 5 holes. It's starting to heat up a little bit. There was a bit of a cold streak for many in our first hour of coverage, but the further we go, the more and more likely it seems that 4 under par will not be the lowest score after round 1, but still plenty of golf to be played. We'll have more for the Nexen SaintNine Masters. Just a few beats. Kim Min-ju at 10 as we say welcome back. Before she strokes this, tied for 53rd. Breaks away and she will stay at +2. High pitched ball from the rough. Jun Ye-sung leaves herself with plenty still for her par, however. Jung Yoon-ji, her approach gets that to stop inside. About a 4-footer. Building some confidence after an up and down from the sand. Some courses the flag is almost perpendicular, others it's nice and calm. And unfortunately that will feel anything but tranquil. Become a par putt. We'll be back momentarily, but in the meantime, this has been the route on 8 for EA1, 159 meters with her second, and she still has 32 to go. Gonna get the cart out of the way. Wouldn't say she's buried, but it's not very kind either. Catches the hill just before the green, and that takes her a long way back to save a par. A little bit of magic to break up the bogey brigade. Suji up on 9, her third. From the bogey brigade to maybe a bevy of birdies. Lee Jung-min to move within 3. Here it comes down the hill. Is it on line? Lee Jung-min doesn't believe so. Enough right to left to ask her for one more. Nearly had enough to roll all the way through the fairway, but stops just short of the green on 10. And this just about on for a bird. Excuse me, EA1, that was her par save. Going down again. Jenny Sung has her misfortune and the run continue. She needs a win of some kind. Doesn't have to be a big one, but just to get a little bit of that swagger back in her step. She's still able to muster a smile through some disappointment. ENG for birdie. Call it back-to-back brilliant results here. She almost performs better when her back's against the wall a little bit. Gives her a kick and a boost. Oh, he's so mean. She's trying to run this through the fringe. That's a great effort. That had been the setup shot. She's going to need to pull a rabbit out to avoid a bogey. Look at this size for the bottom of the cup. Nicely finished off, Yen-Serine. Birdie number 2 of the day, ever since the 5th. All smiles for Isomi as she sets herself brilliantly and finalizes it with a simple but effective putt as we go to the back 9. Chun Yoon-ji beginning. She keeps this up, feels like she won't be staying over par for long, just outside of the target in the center of the fairway. Young must have lost it for a moment on the other side of the trees, but it'll work out quite well for her. Kim Soo-ji is next. So quick through that swing. The ability to drive the ball so well. One of the many things, one of the many boxes that were ticked in the 2022 season. Back to 9 with our final group. Lee Jung-min takes the hybrid out the bag from the right side of the fairway. Can she get all the way down? Uh-oh. Look out for the bunker. Stops just above it. Kim Min-ju for bogey. Got a second burst of wind and just kept on rolling. Young, one back through 6 rounds, excuse me, 6 holes of her opening round. Ji won with her 69, Che Reem just 1 stroke in behind. It's tight at the top. That's how we like it in an opening round. 120 players in the field. It's a setup day. If Saturday's the moving day, it's all about a good start here today. Create some breathing room at the top, figure the course out, and prepare to head into tomorrow's moving day, especially in a 3-round competition. A little less margin for error. Gotta start quick. And we're seeing several players do that as the battle to get under par. Well, there's only 17 who've had to work for it. May not be anyone who needs a birdie more than EA1. Let's see if she can set herself up better this time. Comes down to the putter next. We're due for a run of birdies, and that's going to be a very disheartening miss. You get into those ruts where it feels like no matter what you do, the ball's just stuck on the outside. Kim So-yoon 2 comes inches away as we find Lee Jun-min just before the sand. Needed a bit more of a roll than that. Kim Si-won, after letting an opportunity pass by the wayside. Double is definitely a kick in the shins. Was always going to be 2. Now it's about executing as the second one nears. Back to 10 shortly. Over to 11 with Lee So-mi in the fairway. It's a great little kick back towards the middle. Rightful applause for that effort. It's 90% of the way there. Left herself short. Cost her a birdie. That's the playbook. That's how it's done. You go 2 for 2. Not quite the carry, but about a similar distance, just short instead of long of the hole. This is started about 3.5, 4 feet to the right. Kim Shua looking for a little bit of redemption here. On its way, yes. The paradox of the straightforward putts not panning out, and then the most complicated one she'll hit all day ends up as her first birdie of the day. Hopefully that can trigger a run. I mentioned before, nobody needs a birdie more. Toiling down outside of the top 75 at +4. Narrowly putting a step forward. So Young needs this to stay at even. Swings over and she will drop. Speed bump on the first hole of the back nine. Young. Serene, back-to-back birdies now. It's the black vest, but should be elated. Haven't seen many consecutive birdies today. Oisomi, she is 2 back. Can she change that with one swing of the putter? Gonna need some speed, it's uphill. Never wanted to move. Kim Soo-ji, that is a sarcastic smile, if you will. She knew that she had pulled it. Went for it all, especially with the wind. She thought, why not? Kim Ji-soo at +5. Can she get one back? Thought it was there. She thought it was there as well. She played that line well, just a little bit too much speed. Not going to be able to gain any ground. Tied for 98th. So me inching her way ever closer. That birdie would have gone a long way at 11. But she is not able to progress from that tie for 5th at the moment with Hyun Se-rin, Pak Ji-young, and Chae A-reem with the last 2 names in the clubhouse. Ko Chi-won, 2 under through 6. And we're starting to see a few more players break through from that even par mark. Currently 9 underneath that big letter E with our leaders. And that is plural at 4 under par. Lee Jung-min away as we say hello from the fairway at 10. Kim Soo-ji playing her approach shot, 1 under. Had a little bit of extra length with that second, leaving her with a very short wedge. Reaping the benefits from being one of the main power hitters on this tour. Now it will be all about executing with the putter. EA1 with a front 9 to forget, a 40 on the way out from her 36. And unable to stay in the fairway, off into the rough. After her double bogey, that was much needed. Definitely not fully in her groove. Now Jung Yoon Ji going with the putter from the fringe. It's the right decision. Nearly earned her a birdie. It's a great stroke. Lovely up from He's So Young. Tournament in, tournament out. He's always in the shot. Lee Young. See a triple bogey at 6, a bogey at 1, but able to find her second birdie of the day as she tries to claw her way back up towards even. Well, it pays to have a little bit of extra power, and a big grin from Kim Soo-ji back to wipe that bogey off from 7. She moves to within 2 of the lead. EA1, big swing. Into that little stretch of no man's land between the end of the fairway and the green. The driver and the second shots on the par 5s especially not often causing her much of a headache at all. That's a masterclass on 12. After a sluggish 75 minutes or so to begin, everyone's just starting to calm down and figure out the course. Look at that all the way through. Okay, Jungmin. Almost even hole high. Kim Shi-won, after a brilliant birdie just a hole ago, trying to go back to get even, just to the inside. Well, she can be happy with the putter heating up, but she'll certainly feel a tinge of disappointment. The highs and lows, she so rarely gives anything away. Absolute laser focus. These are the opportunities and the shots that can lead to big finishes and big paydays. Especially when you need a jolt, which is exactly what Chun Ye-sung needs, but she catches that very fat. She comes up a little bit early in her swing and puts the wedge about a foot before the ball. It's frustrating for her. If she can get this to stop, she can certainly work with it, but it scoots along and takes her outside of that eyes closed, spin around 5 times and still make the birdie. Serene at 12. To move within 1, big moment here early in the back 9, but it was never going to go. Stood up almost immediately, resigned to her fate of a par. Izumi has reached that level. 2 birdies and 3 to start the back 9, tied for 3rd, just 1 back. And when she gets into these grooves, almost always means she's not done. Well, there was an ever a moment to encapsulate what has been a rocky start to the round. It would be that. Suji from the fairway. Gonna get stuck there before the fringe. Jungmin bends the knees in a moment of really. Didn't strike that poorly by any means. Could have been an eagle. She knows how close she was. The reaction says it all. Ah, so close. On to 11. A big move to the left for Kim Soo-ji from the fringe. Was always going to be a long putt and was always likely to be two. One last check of the line. Where will the break start? Point to pick out. What will it do at the end? Obviously, like many things in this sport, it takes a lot of practice, but to be able to close your eyes and just be able to say, okay, that's this much break here, this much break there, and put it all together into the computer between your ears. And then even when you figure it out, it's all about the execution. to save par. Started that well outside. Breaks up her sensational run of form. Jimmy first away on 11. In regulation. And now back to the green at 11. Kim Soo-ji needing this to save a par. Lets that one slip. Grits her teeth as she walks off the green with one of her rare tee shots coming back to haunt her. Fairway headed towards the trees. It's been one of those days, you reckon, for A1 so far? Nearly a tap-in finish for Lee-Ga Young. Strike the ball a heck of a lot better than that. Birdie is almost inevitable from there. So Mi continues to climb, now within one, still with 6 holes to play. Hyun Se Rain, excuse me. One shot further back through 12. Chung Yeon-ju, Ko Chi-won, both 2 under through 8. Chae Eun-oh just inside that even par score with a handful of holes of her own. This is the 10th edition of the Nexen SaintNine Masters. We'll have more from the Gaia Country Club shortly. Stay with us. Beautiful look down towards this right green. Center right. Halfway deep once again. And right on the money for Mi Jung-min. Probably thinking to herself, I'll take 7 more approach shots just like that. Thank you very much. Holding her own. 1 under through 10. Likely about to change that in just a couple of minutes' time. And Serene goes off to the right. As their group mate Lee So-mi preparing to try and move into a share of the lead. Bit of a tricky one for A1 over the tree. She opened her hands up a little on that. Wanted to close it, move it on to the green, and at least she's finding the humor in it, but it's been one of those days of the office. It's a beautiful office, mind you, but like any, it can cause some frustrations. No such issues for Lee So-mi, who is now a co-leader. Picks up yet another birdie. It's one of the remarkable things about the round for Hung Yoo-min. Had 6 birdies today, but a pair of bogeys, 13 and 16. Kim Min-byul, 5 and 1. Young Serene saves her par. Despite everyone almost say begging for the ball to hit the brakes. Carries a little bit further. Would have been best case scenario. Up from the sands, she'll be trying to connect on it next. To the camera from Kim Soo-ji. Disappointed with that bogey at 10. A1 out of the sand, trying to avoid falling to 5 under. She's not careful. She could put herself in a sticky situation for tomorrow's final round. She is going to be dropping once again. Unfortunately, a day where very little has gone right. Jungmi, no, she lets it go. After working oh so hard. Set herself up, just slips away. This is online. Just disappears at the bitter end. Isomini, her first hole as the co-leader. Uses just about every available meter of the green back to the left. Put two birdies together back to back fairly quickly. From there, however, hitting a bit of a cold stretch as we take a look at number 12, a 364 meter par 4, and a fairly straight shot. Gorgeous view of the city in the background. You definitely feel like you're in your own little slice of paradise, though, once you're down on the grass and in amongst the trees. 215 meters from the tee on the right side is the end of that bunker. And from there, your approach shot, and something that's been something of a rarity today, a pin placement that's not that close to the center of the green. 8 steps on, 6 yards from the left fringe, and you can see sloping back down the little knolls on the back left and back right of this green. Swing and a blast, rolling down the hill, back towards the fairway. Lee Jung-mi off the tee. Quickly that broke away. Started right, never came back. Suji will have to settle for a 2-putt. body language matches the score. +5, that's not as bad as I think she feared it could be. It was definitely looking right off the driver. This to avoid it dropping to +3. Delays before the follow through. Has it online, and she needed that. Back. Closer to pin high at the end. Somi, her first chance to take the outright lead. Good but not great effort. Should be comfortably enough to keep her as a co-leader at the very least. Between the left and right greens, the yardage was there for A1. It's better.
실례하겠습니다.
Young goes short and disappears. You can hear that collective exhale of disappointment. Tee shot on the par 3. There was a moment where it looked like it also might be headed towards the small trees, but it stays true. battling to get up. And now, speaking of getting up, this is an uphill putt to save par for Hyun-Se Ri. No. That looked near perfect to the very end. First bogey since 7. Still inside the top 10, but down to 1 under. Isomi, a tap to get it started downhill. That is her par. So 3 birdies in the first 5 holes of the back 9. She had started the round in similar fashion with 2 and 3. This is the A1. She could absolutely use a birdie. She avoids a bogey, so there's a win in there. Quite honestly, especially in a first round, one of the most surprising performances of the day. Can be a fickle sport at times. One where you can't coast on your laurels. There's always the next shot. We got Young popping back up. Leaves herself with about 3 feet. Drastically left on the par 3. And essentially a putting stroke with the pitching wedge. Brings herself back just a few feet for one of her more simple pars of the day. Mean putting from the fringe. Downhill, and here comes the speed. How's the line? Oh, it's awfully close. Short par and back to back. Sits her birdie on the 10th hole. This would propel Kim Soo-ji back up to 2 under where she had been after her birdie at 10. Has to get right. Another putt that stays quite surprisingly straight all the way down. Off to the fairway at 14. Kim Shi-won awaits. He's so young. One more practice swing. And away she goes. Middle right is where she's targeting. She had the middle part of that equation figured out. All the way off towards the back fringe. Young needs this to save a par. Barely there, but there. No style points. Chung Yun-ji. Tap in, down it goes. +2 still the score. Now Kim Shi-won is able to play her next. All the waiting pays off. She delivers a brilliant approach shot. We haven't seen her fail to execute on many. Off the tee and on the greens, that's where there's a bit of room to tidy. Suji and her caddy, the final two to part 13. Next group is ready to go. Swinging a blast, and she's the next to miss the green in its entirety. Jungmin had gone even. Round one last season. On the way to a tie for 36th finish, 4 under, where our leaders currently are, was the 4-round score for Lee Jung-min. Now Yusomi from the fairway, who had a 66, her best round of the tournament, first in 2022. Tied for 24th is where she would finish. She goes towards the back left. Comes back to the right. The break, though, starts a little early. One of the better tee shots we've seen here at the day. See if she can't just secure that bird and find a couple more on the way in. Curled to about 8 feet away. This long odyssey conjure up another birdie. Tap to get it started downhill. It's on the line, and that's another circle on the scorecard. Just the second of the day. She struggled through the first 9 holes, but she is back and at even. With fine margins, you run the risk when there's that much to do with a putt for par. Cooled right off. And starting to fade a little bit in this opening round. Same cannot be said for Iso Mi on the 15th green. She is a co-leader at 4 under par. Any number of these players inside the top 10 at 1 under. In with the shot, 3 strokes is more than manageable. With 2 more rounds to play after today. 28 players at the moment, even par or better in this 2023 Nexen SaintNine Masters from Gaia. We'll head back out to the course after a quick break. Jungmin, one of our featured golfers on the afternoon, is able to get back up onto the green on 13. Kim Soo-ji playing an approach from the fairway one hole further down. Gets that hole high just inside of her group mate. Birdie is on. Speaking of the birdies being on, EA1, who could use one more than just about anybody else. Seemed like a finally kind of moment. Her very first of the day, just an abysmal stretch. Objectively speaking, 4 bogeys and 5 on the front 9. Hasn't really been able to conjure up much of a comeback, but has to start somewhere. As we go to 16, the par 5, Kim Min-ju, her third, tucks that in neatly. Four-footer for a birdie. And now how does Kwon So-yeon follow suit? +5, tied for 91st. Needs a couple of birdies on the way in to keep her away from that cut line tomorrow on moving day. How can she execute with the putter? Precisely what Lee Jung-min is trying to do to stay under par. How in the world? 3 feet at the most, and just completely got the read wrong. Probably be the closest to the pin in terms of a missed par that she'll have on the day. Jung Yoon-ji. Five holes to play to get back to even. That's a good start. Fist raised in celebration inside of the top 30 once again. Her first birdie of the back 9 and her first since hole number 9. She go back to back. Driver out on 14 for EA1. She sits 4th on the money list, 13th in the points through the first 3 events of the season now. Birdie at 14 for Kim Soo-ji. Starts back to the right, and she's got it. There was a moment where she wasn't sure. She's able to jar it for birdie number 4 today. 2 under, tied for 7th now after just a brilliant putt. Big swing and a blast for Lee Jung-min. Starts her quest to bounce back after bogey very well. Pipes that down the fairway. A long curving and swooping attempt at birdie. Nearly gets it to go. Hangs up on the right edge of the cup and will have a Second putt to finish it off. To 16 with Kim So-yoon 2. She's been hovering around even all day. Bogeys at 1, 11, and 12. Her birdies at 7 and 15. Could have balanced those scales with a conversion there. Ju. 4 feet, slightly uphill. And she has her birdie. A great approach to set it up. +2 is what her score now reads. Onto the fairway with EA1, stopping mere centimeters away from the drain in the fairway. This is shaped left, up onto the green. Tough to get much bite, much loft. Well, she is on. Time to answer the question, can Lee Jung-min make her time, but even short-lived? It'll take a 6-foot putt for birdie to get back to that tie for 11th. High approach. Wonder if that's a walking stick. Certainly doesn't need to be used as an umbrella today to protect from the rain. We scoot along to 16. So me, her second shot, 191 meters, leaving her with 70. Final par 5 of the day. Slightly left of center as she gets onto the green. Doesn't seem like a no-brainer for birdie if she's able to pull it off. The lead is hers right now as she's sharing it with a pair of rookies, Kim Min-byul, Hung Yoo-min. Top 2 at the Nexen SaintNine Masters in this first of 3 rounds. 10-year anniversary of this event. And the conditions, brilliant despite a little bit of wind earlier in the day. We'll follow Isomi all the way in, finish off her round. Will she be sharing? Will she be on top, or will she be on the outside looking in? She's on the green on the par 5, which is where we'll head when we come back. Check in with EA1 as she looks to go back to back, but with the lie, with the distance, too tall of a task to ask of the now sophomore and now LPGA Tour of Korea winner. Whatever was ailing her, slowing her down today, try and leave that at the gate tomorrow. Go to 17. Soyeon at +5. And a 5 iron. Another long par 3. This 162 meters. Tidy turn. Jung-min to get under par. She's pulled this one. She pushed the last, she pulls this one. She just can't seem to figure out where it's going wrong. Everything up onto the green for the most part today, with the exception of a couple of sprayed drives, has been not quite perfection, but very solid play. Just that final swing, that final act. That's why she is even straight down the middle. Chung Yoon-ji wants to join her at that mark as she plays her approach. And now he's so mean for the outright lead. Downhill, this is going to come back left. It's a little slow. She will have 2 holes to sort it out, a par 3 and a par 4 to finish off the day. Won back-to-back events in October. She generally thrives in the 4-hole competitions. Slightly less consistently low on the par 3s, just doesn't have as much time to settle in. And Serene, it's a nice birdie at 16. Slight tailwind for Kim Soo-ji as she comes up from the rough. That's going to drop in on line. Smidge more power and she would be at least doing the dance with a hole out. Back to the par 3, Kwon Soo-young. +5. Can she pick one up? She can. Okay. Changed the outlook on her day as it took 17 holes, but she finally found a birdie this opening round Friday. The view from above really illustrates that this is as much of a hike as it is a par 4. 205 meters, 20 meters further down. That is the length of that second bunker on the right side. As you'd expect, the tee shots often are and should be uneventful. Straight shot to set up the approach with the pin today in the opening round at the front left, right where all the arrows are pointed. It requires some accuracy. That's your trade-off. In terms of shot creation, fairly straightforward. The execution is a whole other ballgame as Lee Jung-mi tees this off almost as far right as she can get on the blocks. Trying to give herself the tightest angle with a slight draw that she's been playing today. It's a patchy fairway, but she finds it. next to tee off. Great looking swing. It's one of the purest we are treated to week in and week out. Serene teeing off in this group with Isomi, and she is well short. She's not the only one. At 162 meters and slightly uphill from that fairway, we've seen many a player have a nearly identical tee shot as we go to 15. She's a player that putts with momentum. Momentum had been on her side. Narrowly and very narrowly missed to the left. She has a 2-putt par. Next up is Isomi. Does she have a little bit of extra strength in the tank? 6-iron. Climb. She comes closer than most have here. She is stuck on the hill, shy of the green. Kim Soon-ji trying to hang on for her par. Hang on, she's done. Just a gorgeous Friday afternoon. We've arrived at 5 p.m. local time. The Gaia Country Club, 6,200 meter par 72. The site, the 10th edition of the Nexen SaintNine Masters. Finally ready for the approach. Enough to reach, enough to move that left. Probably fancy that side of the flag. The slight uphill. Changed, to put it mildly. Next up at 15 is EA1. Couldn't be more central in this fairway. She's just gonna get that roll through on the fringe. When she is playing with all systems running at their top capacity, that's almost, don't even need to watch. You know that putt, that distance is gonna go. Deeper as that struck with a bit more pace than needed to approach that ball with, as we see Lee Jung-min. She splits the two that had arrived at the green moments before she joins them. Just before the sand at 16, Kim Shi-won from even. Floats it over the sand, who started back. Speed will take her to the back. A left to right putt from the slope that she has previously navigated so well. Fast forward to Kim Min-ju on 18. +3, 7 off the lead. Should feel much better about a 74, and she should feel like that 74 is all but guaranteed after a tidy bit of wedge play. Somewhat comforting about those blue skies, despite the temperature dropping slightly. Should be in for a rain-free weekend, which is welcome news considering where we were around this time last week. It's Tuesday here that is going to be borderline monsoon with 30 to 55 millimeters of rain forecasted. So good thing we will be long gone by the time that system rolls in. Izumi had been short off the tee. Wasn't able to get all the way up with her second. Third leaves her still with a few feet. She might just be stumbling through the final few holes. EA1 for birdie. There it goes. Breaking away with incredible speed at the very end, so she'll settle for a 2-putt par. Trying to save a par, catching a piece. The outside right. To make up before her par. Chun Ye-sung on 15. This to take her to +3. Just narrowly uphill and up on the line. It's the best sound a golfer can hear, other than the roar of a crowd, is the rattle. Metal boundary inside the hole. First birdie of the day. Kim Shi-won. Even far from a poor score here today, but trying to join a select few under par. Didn't stay online for very long, did it? Two-putt par, she's on the home stretch. So we just her little tap in. Trying to control all that she can. Wait for her perfect moment with the wind. Finally gets an escape, and the bogey is confirmed. So down into the grouping with Q1. Jungmi is even. Can she move? Do a tie for 11th position? Yes, she very much can. It's back on the 16th green. Staying above the hole. Downhill, is it on line? Yes, it is. She desperately needed that. Up and down like a yo-yo she has gone so far today. As we look into the gorgeous rock formations cut out of one of the many mountains here that surround the Gaia Country Club. As we continue to progress through the final few holes today, let's go through some of the highlights. We'll begin on 6. We'd seen it earlier in the day, the longest par 3 on the course. Was a resumption of the many birdies struck throughout the round. See, basically trading shot for shot. This trio of players who had teed off on 10, 3 birdies and 4 at that point for Hung Yu Min. I mentioned the fact she'd go on to record 6 of them on the day. And a faultless, nearly, run from Kim Min Bial. It was much of the same last week. The Medihil Hangubobo Championship before the weekend saw the wheels fall off a little bit. Another for Hung Yu Min. At that point had just 2 holes to play. This had been on 8. Another shot at a birdie. Just inside of 5 meters. A tricky read that she simplifies and delivers. Unfortunately, as we have seen several times with this leaderboard, 5 under would often not stick. Isumi has learned that it's even tricky to get the 4 under to stay constant, but with her touch, her control around the greens, she was able to make a push. This had been a 12, a 9 iron from 116 meters out from the fairway. Gotta get up, gotta get on the hole, and she ticks all of those boxes. Just a few feet for a birdie at that point. Later on 13, again, par 3s can be a make or break quartet. Each and every round, you go after the pins and you can execute. Good things, good scores will often join you for the journey. Me with a nice tee shot and a 6-foot putt for par. And as we see right now, a bit of a surprise with a new name atop the leaderboard. I told you that I didn't expect to see 4 under stay as the low score of the event, and while there are still holes to try and manage, Chung Yun-ju has put together so many consistently great strokes, including an eagle at 12, which will do wonders for vaulting anyone up the leaderboard. At the moment, 25 players even and 17 players under par. And with the late push in the round, well, the prophecy is beginning to come true. Chung Yun-ju with 6 to play, which means plenty of time to continue moving up, will be our leader as we say farewell for the day. This is just a 3-round event, which means already we sign off and promise to return with a moving day. 120 players in the field to start by the end of the day tomorrow. About 24 hours from now, we will cut that in half. It is a special week, a special milestone, an anniversary of a 10th edition of this Nexen SaintNine Masters. We saw a few find the mastery of the course, and tomorrow we will look to find a few more. The day of the rookies, Kim Min-pyeol and Hung Yoo-min, and also some usual suspects hovering around that top 10. For our SBS Golf and Spot Cruise, I've been Adam Jenkins saying thank you for joining us this evening. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we look forward to welcoming you back to the Gaia Country Club tomorrow for more from the Nexen SaintNine Masters 2023. Same place, same time tomorrow, shall we? Goodbye for now.